Hello, and welcome to our channel, and welcome to the beginning of our series of learning PowerShell. This series is going to be about just the basics that you might need in your capacity as an attorney, teacher, office worker, student, or just someone who wants to learn about how to use PowerShell in ways that are going to make your job more efficient, more streamlined, and sometimes just cool, sometimes just something fun. And PowerShell is also a really great way to get into learning programming without being intimidated by some of the other software and other scripting languages. So whenever you get into PowerShell, what you're going to see is that there are multiple different versions. And we have a normal PowerShell, which is going to be like a command prompt, a command line, where you would type in individual commands, or we have the ISE, which you are seeing on the screen here. And we're going to be using ISE here because it will allow us to write scripts up on top. And it also allows for us to get auto completion while we are typing our commands, which is extremely helpful for catching spelling errors or if you're forgetting the exact command that you are looking for. So what can you do in PowerShell? You can create files, you can read files, you can delete them, move them, copy them. You can do the same for folders. You can start also doing analysis of things within your computer. You can make things organized. You can do automated tasks. And so in order to start all of these, we need to start from the very beginning of a commandlet or a command. And that is what we're going to be telling PowerShell what to do. A real world example could be something like clean room. We have a verb and we have a noun. There's always going to be a verb noun pairing. And we're going to have something called parameters. And those parameters are where you can tell other options that you want for this command. So for this instance, we could say, where do we want it? What's the path that we're going to go to get there? We can say we want to clean the living room. Or we could say we want to clean the kitchen. There's also something called a switch, which you'll see also as a listed parameter. And this simply turns on or off a task. So let's pretend that one of the parameters is mop. So when you have mop off, it's going to clean the kitchen, but not mop. If you want it to mop, you need to specifically turn on that switch. So let's look at the various different options that you have for commands. Let's start with the verbs. So we're going to get the verb. And you'll see whenever you type in the dash, you get a list. You can start typing. You can use your arrow keys to move up and down, or you can use your mouse if you need. And in order to autocomplete, you can then press tab to get the rest of your command typed out. So if we say get verb and hit enter, we can see a list of all the verbs that you can use. Some that we're going to use often in this course are add, clear, copy, format, get I use all the time, rename, remove, select I use often. There's one down here called measure, which we will use often. And so we are going to be using these different verbs. Now, how do you know which noun you can attach to these verbs? Well, there's something called get command, and you can now see a list of all the commands that are available. Now, that's quite a daunting list, quite a lengthy list. So what we can do is we can start using the parameters to help us. We want to say get the command for the verb measure. And now we can see there are two different versions of the measure verb. We have a measure command and we have a measure object. One of the most helpful commandlets you can learn in the very beginning is get help. And whenever you type get help, it's going to expect you to type in which command you want help on. So you can even get help on get help. And what you'll see is the name, the synopsis, the different variations of which you can type a command, a description of it, and some links. Now, this can be quite intimidating at first. Do not get overwhelmed. I will show you through this course the different ones that I use most often. And of course, I'm going to want you to play around as well for you to see where you would find most helpful in your day-to-day life. So we do have get help, and we could say examples. We can say show window, which will bring out in a separate window. We could say show online. And show online is the one that I recommend the most because it's going to take you to the link here that is going to tell you the most up-to-date information. So that is generally where I would start for help on different parameters or different aspects that I might get confused or stuck on. One other thing you can do once your screen is becoming a little full is you can click up on this clear console pane, or you can type clear host, or you can just simply type in clear, and there's variations. We'll go into aliases in another video. But I'm going to want you to learn and practice get verb, get command, and get help. And with that, we are going to end the lesson today. We'll move into some more concrete examples that I use on a day-to-day basis within the next video. But I'm hoping that this gave you the foundation of where we're going to be heading. And so with that, please leave any comments that you may have, any suggestions. Like the video if you found this helpful, and subscribe if you're wanting to stay tuned for my next video. Thank you, and see you in the next time.